Well, Coach, since I get the first question, I'll ask the one that everybody wants to ask. What made you decide to come to A&M, and how has your rapport been with Jimbo since you've been here?
Well, the first part of that question is does involve Coach Fisher. My respect for him and our ability to compete against each other. When we were in the same conference, you get ready for a game, and the first video we wanted to put on is let's see what Florida State did against them. So my knowledge of his success and what he likes to do offense made it very, very attractive. When I was coaching at Missouri State, I was having a great time. One of my goals there was to mentor and raise young coaches. So that was a lot of fun, but I always had the itch to get back to this conference and be able to coach at this level. So it's been a lot of fun. I've read or heard, or I've had people send me things about, you and Coach Fisher getting along, that's not really how it works, okay? Coach is the boss, all right? My job is to try to keep him happy and make sure that everything works, the way he wants it to work. I understand that more than probably anybody because of the number of years that I've been the head coach. But it's been a lot of fun, Coach is a ball coach, and the ability to go in the meeting room and watch video and listen to his philosophies and his techniques and fundamentals. I've improved a lot as a coach, and my knowledge has improved a lot as a coach just in the short time that I've been here.
We'll stay on that left side and go the row behind Olin.
Hi, Coach. We understand that you've coached and developed a lot of great players in your career. I just wonder, off the top of your head or at first glance, your number one, the thoughts of the kind of players that you've gotten here at A&M.
Yeah, it's exciting to see the talent that we have and the weapons that we have. A big part of offense is not the playbook and the things that you like to run. I'm never really called a play because, I like this play, let's call it and see how it works. You call plays for players. And we got to get all our weapons in the right spots, and the quarterbacks have to understand that, it's our job to get them the ball in good spots where they can make plays for you. So learning that and going about that right now has been a lot of fun, but very talented receiver group, some big tight ends that are physical and can run and catch. Like to see what our running backs are going to do and continue. They had a good spring, and they continue to get better and better, and the competition gets more and more at that spot, so that makes everybody better. The offensive line, with their experience from last year, you could see in spring they were starting to get it and get better each day in practice in spring, and in these early practices they've continued to improve.
And I just wanted to ask, you mentioned the questions that were called to your attention about the relationship between you and Jimbo and how it was going to work. I just wonder, what was, you think, your reaction when you would read those articles? Were you amused? Were you angry? Or, or when you would hear those reports, did you have any reaction at all?
I mean, you kind of like have a smile on your face and laugh about it because it really is not how it works. It's, like when I used to talk to our team when I was a head coach, I would explain this story that I work for an athletic director and I work for the president of the university. And it's my job to keep them happy. It's my job to make sure that they don't get mad at me. And if I get mad at them, they don't really care, right? So that's that's not how it's worked. It's my job. I work for Coach Fisher. This is his program. I'm very, very impressed. That's one of the reasons I came here, is because of my knowledge of how he runs a program. But it's my job to make sure I'm working hard every day. And it's been fun, though. I can tell you that. It's been really enjoyable just because he's got such a great offensive mind. And with all the coaches, we've been able to sit in there and strategize and see the things we want to do, build the offense. We're building the offense for the Aggies this year.
We'll go front row on the right side to Cole, and then Brent and Travis.
Coach, what are some essentials that you look for in a starting quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing you got to do is be a great leader. You gotta make the guys around you better. And That to me is the number one thing as a leader is your ability to make people around you play at a higher level. Both guys have been working hard at that, and they're doing a good job. You know, they get prepared each day for practice. That's why competition is so good, because the minute we get done with one practice, they're in the playbook getting ready for what the install is for the next practice. They don't want to come out on the field unprepared, so they make each other better. But the first thing they have to be able to do is lead and be able to, you know, make the guys around them better. Got to be accurate. You got to be able to make the throws, you know, and we've got the talent to do that, which is a great thing. And then you got to be able to have the poise, because, you know, like I told them the other day, there's a lot of occupational hazards as a quarterback, and one of them is that when things don't go good, the blame's coming on your shoulders. So you got to be able to just brush it off and forget about it, be thick-skinned, and move forward. But that's just an occupational hazard. That goes with the position.
And then when you look back at last season's offense, from an outside perspective, what were some things that you noticed that weren't working and some things that were working?
Yeah, I don't really look at it like that. You know, I think the one thing that I've learned over the years in coaching is sometimes you can do your best job of coaching, and the wins still don't add up to where you would like them to be. So as I watched the season and went through it, I was impressed with how much better they got as the year went on, and how they finished the year strong, and how the players stuck together. And you know, that's one of the things that I was really impressed with when I got here, was coming off a season like that, which Jimbo's not used to, A&M's not used to. The attitude of the players and their positivity and how much they cared about each other was very impressive to me.
We'll stay on the front row to Brent and then Travis.
Right here, Coach. Will you be in the press box or on the sideline?
Yeah, I haven't made the complete decision yet, but I'm leaning towards the press box. I think the ability to be up there and you know, see things and call the game. When I was a coordinator before, I mostly was up in the press box, and then when I thought, hey, maybe I will get a head job one of these days, I talked Coach Smith into bringing me down on the sideline so I could get used to calling the game from the sideline. So I think it's going to come down to, you know, how comfortable I am with the temperament of the quarterbacks, you know, when things aren't going good, and how well they come back from it here in practice and in the scrimmages. And I worked for a great coach named Bruce Snyder when I was at Arizona State, and he always told me, don't make a decision till you have to. So I think I'm going to favor on that comment.
I know it's a collective effort, but will you serve as the primary play caller?
Yeah, I mean, it is a collective effort. I've been calling the plays out at practice, and I will do that. But a lot of times the plays are called throughout the week. So as you game plan and you're in there, you put down your third and shorts, and you know what you want to do run-wise, you know what you want to do pass-wise. Then you practice them, then you go back and rank them. And a lot of times it's like, okay, we get 3rd and 1, ball's on the right hash. The call's already made. You know what I'm saying? So you just have to be able to be disciplined to do what you didn't practice. I think that's when I've always like self-scouted myself. I didn't do it as much based on what the defense was looking at and what they were doing, but I always did it based on, did we call what we did in practice, and did we execute what we executed in practice? And if we didn't, why not? What's the issue there? So I want to make sure that we spend time preparing our players, and they understand the situations, and they can rely that they're gonna get the play calls that they worked on and practiced on and got better on during the week.
We'll stay front row on the right side to Travis.
Hey, Coach. You know, your recruitment to come here was a little bit unique. What was the kind of the timeline between you going to UNLV and then coming here, and kind of the situation that revolved around all of that?
It was a little bit unique, yeah, no doubt about that. So, you know, Jimbo's a guy that takes his time. You know, wants to do his research, really understand what's going on, and you know, we had talked early. I thought we had good talks. You know, they were right in the middle of recruiting and right in the middle of signing guys and doing all that. And Barry gave me a call, and you know, it was a situation where the young guys that I was trying to help raise in this profession at Missouri State, I felt like it was ready for them to be on their own. go do what you do, take it over, see how good you are, you know. So I had the plans on, hey, I'm going to try to get a really good assistant job and get in the room with the quarterbacks and kind of go back to how I grew up. So I went with Barry down there, and when Mark called me, because Mark Robinson called me, first thing I said to him, "Are you kidding me?" You know, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" He said, "No, I'm not." I said, "You got to be kidding me, right? Why are you doing this to me, Mark?" I gave him a little bit of a hard time. But then it wasn't a real hard decision. You know, it was something that, you know, we had talked about, I was looking forward to, and then it came through.
And then the one thing the players we've talked to so far have said is the biggest difference they've seen is tempo with the offense. How much does tempo play a part in that, and something you want to bring to this offense?
Yeah, I think sometimes the tempo thing is a little bit overused. That you know, we're not going to be helter-skelter and just go and go as fast as we can. The ability to change tempo and go fast, slow down, huddle, do different things, I think has a bigger effect on defenses. Or maybe the way I look at it is maybe we create an advantage. You know, everything I like to do in offense is to create an advantage in the run game, create an advantage in the pass game, and take advantage of personnel matchups. So our tempo will be used to create advantages and see how we think we can attack them better and get our players in the position where they make plays.
We'll go fourth row on the left side to Sam and then Tyler.
Hey, Bobby, curious, when it comes to calling an offense and designing a successful offense, how much do you lean on perfection and guys getting details right, and how much of it is letting guys play freely to where you guys can be successful?
Yeah, I think the key there is you allow them to play freely to perfection. You know, that's how you play freely, is you know what you're supposed to do and you go out and do what you're coached to do and give great effort and make plays. But, you know, our players right now are at a level where everything they've got to do is how do I separate from the pack? You know, so we're working at being experts at what we do, really understanding every little detail of our position and then understanding the other side of the ball. So it's certainly about perfecting your craft and understanding the game. And, you know, I had the ability to coach in the NFL and had a lot of fun when I was with the Jaguars. And I was so impressed that the players' minds and hearts that they had. I've seen a lot of players throughout my career that had the ability to play in the NFL, but the way you separate from the pack is your mind and your heart and your competitive spirit. So that's mainly what we look for.
And when you look at the offensive talent you guys got to work with the last 8 months, how does the talent on this offensive team stack up to some of the teams you've coached before?
Yeah, I think we've got the weapons there. Now we've got to get the consistency. We've got to get our guys that can make plays to have the competitive spirit that, you know, nobody's going to stop me. I'm going to get my matchups, and I know the plays, and I'm going to win. So that consistency and then desire to excel is really what we're looking for.
We'll go third row on the left side to Tyler and then Carter.
Bobby, what do you like from each quarterback, Max Johnson and Connor Wigman? And then how much does designing and the plays of the offense going to be tailored towards whoever's out?
You know, I'm going to answer the second part of that first, in the fact that the way I believe offenses work is, you know, we've had a playbook now since we started spring practice. So we've installed that, and it's a pretty good size playbook. And we challenge them to get to know it. And then through summer, you install it again. And then when we started camp here, we installed it again. And we've got about 2 weeks left now where we continue to observe and evaluate and see where we're at. After 2 weeks from now, and then we got to start tailoring it to our players and the quarterbacks, what he can do and what he can't do, and it becomes their offense. So each quarterback will be a little bit different. You know, they each have a little bit different strengths and a little bit different weaknesses. So you have to know what it is they can do, and when they're in the game, this is the part of the offense we're executing the most. And, you know, I've been able to do that the guy that reminds me the most is a backup quarterback I had at Arkansas, Tyler Wilson, because Ryan Mallett was the starting quarterback. Ryan, you could do everything. He had such a great understanding of the game, knew everything about it, and Tyler wasn't quite there mentally, so we just put these 25 plays, and if he gets in the game, it has to come in. This is the package that we're running, and that gave him a chance to really understand what he was and what he could do, and gave us a chance to move the ball.
What have you liked specifically with Connor and with Max?
Yeah, both of them are doing a really good job of leading, and it's really important to both of them. You know, Connor's got a really quick release, can get the ball out accurately and fast, and does a great job of understanding coverages and how it moves it around. Max is doing a great job throwing the ball deep down the field and handling one-on-one coverage and, you know, reading progressions. So they're a little bit different, but like right now we're working on, you know, finding out more and more about them each day.
We'll stay on the third row to Carter and then wrap things up with David and Christy.
Bobby, we've heard from some of the players describe you as more calm and poised than they expected. I'm wondering if you feel like your personality has changed as, you know, you've gotten through the business, and if you feel like the state of college football, you have to be maybe a little warmer to players.
Yeah, I did smile when you said that, you know. And I was thinking, you know, wait till they get a load of me now, you know. But no, it's the role I'm in, you know. My job is now I'm a teacher first and foremost. My role is to teach and learn and get to know how they learn, which I'm truly enjoying. Being in the classroom with the quarterbacks and teaching and being there every day has been a lot of fun. So, you know, when you're on the sideline and those guys in the striped shirts make bad calls, it's hard to keep your poise, you know. And there was one time I yelled at them. I know that. Just once. But I'm not in that role anymore. I just get to be calm.
And also want to ask you about your Feed the Studs philosophy. First of all, I love the name, but how has that evolved over the years? Where do you feel like it is now compared to maybe when you were, just 10 years ago?
Yeah, so we talk about offensive philosophy, and I always say FTS, which is Feed the Studs. And it's kind of the quarterbacks and the coaches need to understand, how do we get the ball to our best guys? And what I was saying earlier was I've never called a play just because, oh, this is a fancy play, let's call it. I call a play to get the ball to Noah or Anais or Evan or Moose. You know, how do we get the ball to them, and where's the matchup at? And our quarterbacks are just learning that right now. You know, they're learning that, hey, why did we get in this formation, and why did we put this player here, and what his strengths are. We had a pretty good demonstration of it the other day on the chalkboard, or they don't have chalkboards anymore. I hate to say grease board. I guess I'm showing my age, aren't I? But used to say chalkboard. But we put up a formation, and we had moved a receiver to a specific area. So we wrote a small T, a small Y, and a huge Z, so they make sure they understood, hey, why are we in this form? Oh, to get Z a one-on-one matchup so we can throw him the ball. So it's learning and understanding where your weapons are and what they do well and how we get them the ball. And that's one of the unique things about being a quarterback is we have to talk about our players' attributes and deficiencies in the classroom. They have to know them, and we have to verbalize them and talk to them, and it all has to stay in the classroom. So it's been fun to start understanding and learning that.
We'll go second row on the right side to David and then wrap things up with Christy.
Bobby, what goes into the transition from what you have done and want to bring to A&M and then merging it with Jimbo's philosophy and the language and whatnot?
Hard work, and that's what's been fun about it is Coach, you know, he'll come up early in the morning, we get in the meeting room and grind and watch tape, and, you know, I think we watched some tape from 1984 LSU, you know, to see what we did there, and we've got a great staff, so we're putting the Texas A&M Aggie offense together, the input from everybody, how do we make it better, what do we have to do, so we building the playbook, and it really has been enjoyable. I can tell you this, working with Coach Fisher, my respect for him has gotten even higher than it was when I came here, because you know, I've worked for some head coaches that do a great job of being a CEO and managing everything, but really weren't into the ball part of it. And this has been a lot of fun. Like I said, to start it off with, I've learned a lot of football since I've been here, and I've been fortunate my years as an assistant. You know, I've been able to work for Tom Coughlin, learn a lot from him. Bruce Schneider, when I was at Arizona State, was awesome. Chris Alt was an awesome coach to coach for. All three of those guys were offensive guys, so they make you better, because you want to work and make sure that you have the respect from them, that you know what you're doing. And then I got the opportunity to work for John L. Smith, and John L. was a defensive coordinator, and then you wanted to strive and make sure that your offense was what it needed to be to win games. So it's been a lot of fun, and Coach has been great. He really knows football. He really knows how to motivate young men, and the techniques and fundamentals part of it, he's really on top of too.
All right, final question, second row to Christy.
I have a couple of things. First off, you talked earlier about really wanting to get back to this level, and now that you are, after several years not at this level, what's the biggest thing you want to show people this season?
I don't know if there's any biggest thing. I've always been hard with those questions, you know, is the biggest thing. But the way I look at it is, I'm not interested in showing people anything. My thing right now is to have the opportunity to work with young men, try to do everything I can to provide them confidence in what they're doing, try to make sure that they understand that they need to use the gifts that God gave them to be the best that they possibly can be, and I get to affect, you know, their lives in a positive manner. So that's really what I'm enjoying the most.
And I don't know if this kind of is similar, but when you come to a new program, are there things that you want to do to kind of put your mark on the offense and make sure it's like, you know, it's you?
No, it's not about me. It's not about me. It's about the offense, and you know, and the input that you get from all the assistants and from Coach. We mold it together. We work hard on game planning, and then I get to go out in the game and decide on what play to call. And when they boo and it's a bad call, you know, that's my fault, you know. So, but I'm excited about it. It's been fun, and our assistant coaches are great too. The amount of input and effect they have on what we'll end up doing on offense is tremendous.